Assalamualaikum and a very good day to each and one of you here. I'm Namashita Halmanit Binti Johari and I will be today's moderator. First thing first, let me introduce each one of the panels for this discussion. The first panel is Nur Fitri binti Muhammad Ali. The second panel is Nur Syafiqah Aina binti Nazri. And the last panel is Nur Nabila binti Fauzi. As we all know, mathematical logic is the study of formal logic within mathematics. Some of the topics that we will learn in mathematical logic are model theory, proof theory, and set theory. As we learn mathematical logic, some students may find it hard to learn this subject as it is quite difficult to understand. So, for today's topic, we will discuss on how we can make mathematical logic and proving techniques be more interesting and effective for other students to learn. Without wasting any time, I welcome the first panel, Ms. Fitri, to present her point.
Okay, thanks to the moderator, Ms. Mashita. Next, my name is Nurul Fitri binti Muhammad Ali. As the first panel, we continue this discussion with my own point on how we can make mathematical logic and proving techniques be more interesting and effective for other students to learn. As we all know, to start a good and more effective learning, we need to prepare earlier, more organized and also tidy planning. This makes it easier for us to learn and easier to understand something in more depth. So my point for this discussion is we can make the learning something more interesting and effective by making our own notes. Did you all know that making these notes is also one of the most effective ways to produce great learning? These notes will look more interesting if we make them using our own creativity. These notes can also be made according to individual tasks, where everyone definitely has their own distinct advantage to make the notes more concise and complete so as to make it easier for them to understand. Among the examples of notes that are often done as a student is in the form of a mind map. These mind map shape notes can be made in various sizes and shapes according to their own creativity, such as cloud shapes, circle shapes, and others. To produce concise notes, the note should be filled with important words only and not too full of unimportant words because it will give us a little difficulty to understand them more quickly. Next, there are many benefits we can get by making special notes for ourselves. For example, it can save time for brief revisions, especially at the end of the exam, where each student does not have much time to learn everything. So, with these brief notes, the students can save their time to study more and more compactly, more effectively. Today, students spend a lot of their time doing assignments that have been given by their lecturers, so they do not have much time to study. So these brief notes will also help them in reviewing the subject and at the last minute. Furthermore, among other advantages we can find by making brief notes is that we can distinguish between important and less important facts. This means that the notes we write are important formulations that we should master and memorize. Many students still do not know the correct way to make concise and accurate notes. So, they should learn how to make the right notes by reducing the unimportant words in their notes and multiplying only the important words. Next, note also as a sign we have understood the lessons learned and it can be considered as the essence of the following subjects. So that's all the points and opinions from me about our discussion today. Next, I continue this forum by inviting our moderator, Ms. Mashita.
Thank you, Ms. Fitri. Now, we will go to our second panel, Ms. Aina, to present her point on how to make learning mathematical logic more interesting for students.
Alright, first of all, thank you Ms. Mashita for giving me the opportunity to join this forum. So let me share my opinion. Regarding Ms. Fitri's point, I could not agree more. Students need simple yet interesting notes so that they can easily refer to the notes. But students should not just depend on learning materials. They should also have practical activities to bring excitement during the learning session. Thus, Lecturers can conduct fun activities at the end of the topics that are being taught to test and strengthen students' understanding. By doing practical activities such as explorers, students will be more motivated to study because they are competing with each other to get first place. Lecturers can make few checkpoints during the explorers. Students have to solve different problems at different checkpoints in order to get clues for the next checkpoints. This will help students to recap what they have learned during class. Besides, they will also have a fun time while revising with their friends. Next, lecturers can conduct mathematics booths and let students present the topics that they chose using their own creativity. Students can use any props to make their presentation more interesting. For example, they can use round-shaped cardboards to represent the sets and ping pong balls to represent the elements, so that other students can easily understand the concept of sets. Furthermore, they can also attract students from other programs besides mathematics because of the presentation's uniqueness. I think that's all that I can suggest for our agenda to make learning mathematicology and proving techniques more interesting and effective. Instead of conducting quizzes and giving students exercises in class which gives sleepy vibes, it is better for lecturers to conduct practical activities. Studying in a classroom is boring because students just sit and focus on the whiteboard or the slideshows. When doing practical activities, students can interact with their friends and share their knowledge with each other freely. I guess this is the end of my suggestion, so I will give the spotlights back to Miss Mashita.
Thank you for your great presentation, Miss Aina. And lastly, what is your opinion on today's topic discussion, Miss Nabila?
Thank you, moderator. I also want to say thank you to panel 1 and panel 2, who is Nurul Fitri and Aina, for your brilliant idea. I do agree that doing notes and practicing activities can assist us understand mathematical logic and proving techniques in a more interesting and efficient way. But I also want to make a point that can help us to increase effectiveness and enjoyment while learning mathematical logic and proving techniques. Before I further explain my point, let me introduce myself first. My name is Nur Nabila binti Fauzi and I am panel 3. My point is to teach our friends about the subtopic that we learn. As we all know, mathematical logic and proving techniques are subjects where we prove our statement and premise and also verify the validity of argument. So, we can see that this subject needs a fully understanding on the concept to answer the question. For some people, it might be hard for them to understand the concept even after lecture time. So, the effort that they can make is study with their friends. Hence, my suggestion is try to make a group study among your classmates. After that, assign one subtopic for each student to teach about. After that, try to come up with a schedule during your spare time and take turns to teach your own subtopic. It might seem like this idea is not really helpful, but after some time, you will see the effect of this approach. The more we teach, the more it will enhance our knowledge and understanding. It is because before we want to teach someone, of course, we need to fully understand it first. We will master the concept and try to find an easy and effective way to deliver the knowledge. Thus, after all the effort that we put in, I can say that you will fully understand the subtopic and be able to answer the question without many problems and difficulties. Also, the beauty of group study is that when we learn something together, like in a small group, everyone will have their own curiosity and they will speak up to ask questions. If there is someone who asks the question, there will also be someone who answers the question, right? So, if everyone shares their thought and understanding, at the same time, without they knowing, it will expand their view toward the subtopic that they learn.
It will also improve their social skills as they communicate with others during the discussion. As a result, the learning process will become more interesting and students will not become bored while learning new things. I believe I have made my point. I will let the moderator to continue the discussion. Thank you.
Thank you to all three panels. Each panel presented such strong and great points. I agree with all of your ideas, which are making notes, inventing fun games or activities based on topics that are taught, and teaching our friends about the subtopic that we learn. I believe with enough effort from the responsible party, we can implement these ideas evenly into achieving our goal for today's discussion, which is to make learning mathematical logic and proving techniques more interesting. Every step in making mathematics fun will be a small but meaningful step in gaining a student's interest in mathematics. That's all from us. Thank you for listening and see you next time.